All right. So the one thing that keeps looming in my head, you hear about the tanking, right? So you hear about the Wembanyama sweepstakes and how, Adam Silver's even addressing the tanking issues. And weirdly enough, the teams that should be tanking seem to be winning, right? So you've got Utah having a great run, you've got Spurs having a great run, Pacers having a great run, etc. Um, maybe a way to throw the send off at the start, maybe a weird way to increase some trade values for them for those players. Utah, for example, Jordan Clarkson, Laurie Markkinen, even Mike Conley to a degree, great pieces. They're playing well. Why wouldn't you want them? But the hot take that I'm really going to slip in here is I think this season is going to be the season that we see the longest losing streak in NBA history. Okay. Because once the dust settles and people really figure out, are we good? Are we not? Are we tanking? We need to eventually go for the tankathon. And funnily enough, how long ago was it that someone went for the longest losing streak? It's weirdly enough was the Philadelphia 76ers doing their process nonsense. It was spread over 2 seasons. So it was at the tail end of the 2014 season and then the beginning of the 2015 season. Both of which they went 18-64 in the first season and then 10-72 in the second. But I believe that you're going to have a team drop 30 games this season. I think eventually a team is going to be that poor. The injuries will be faked. The G League players will be getting the ultimate run. The trades will be in effect for extra draft picks.
30 games.
There will be an instant win. Sorry?
30 games in a row. Is that what you're saying?
I think 30 games in a row is more than achievable for a team that looks at themselves and says, Wembanyama is the key / oh my God, I've forgotten his name. What's the second pick that's so obvious?
Scoot Henderson.
Scoot. So you tank away, right? You look at it. I mean, eligible candidates, obviously Utah.
Let me ask you a few things. So firstly, what's the record? What's the record losing?
The record in a single season is 26, but then over 2 seasons is 28.
Okay,
right?
So you're saying we'll see a record of potentially 27 or more losses in a row this season. Now, I'm going to ask you then, which team are you suggesting is going to do that?
There are several eligible candidates. Utah would be one. I think Utah's winning it immediately to pump trade value up, and then they'll slowly take the gas off. Spurs would be another one. I think Popovich might be trying to get a weird culture thing with the young guys before they do their tankathon. I think Charlotte is definitely eligible once the Gordon Hayward injury inevitably occurs. Who else would be there?
Did you just say Gordon Hayward inevitable injury occurs?
I mean, what did you want? I'm just, when you gave me the brief, hey, we're going to be talking about this, I feel like I've met the energy that I expected to come out. I don't know what you did. Right? I feel like you came out very placid. You're like, oh, they're looking good. They're going to win 50 games. No, I'm predicting injuries. I'm predicting retirements. I'm predicting records being broken. I've come with the right energy, Fauzi. I don't know what you're doing.
I think losing in the NBA is not as easy as it sounds. And I don't think, how can I phrase this? The process was a unique few years. Whereas David Hinkie, yeah. And he went down this real extreme pathway of we're going to lose and lose and lose. And what did we get out of it? We got Joel Embiid and Fultz, and we got Ben Simmons, and 2 out of 3 are no longer there. Okay. And then Hinkie lost his job. Okay. Then he lost his job. Okay. And I think other GMs are going to be smart to not go down this pathway to intentionally tank to such an extreme, okay, that because they have a job and a fan base, okay, to obviously appease, okay, and ownership to appease, and so many stakeholders to balance, that at the end of the day, with the flattened odds and the lowest 3 teams now receiving the same chances of the number 1 pick, all right, I just don't see it. I would be shocked if your hot take here came true. Okay, because I just don't see it, because it makes no sense. You want to be in the bottom three, all right, sure, you might lose 10, 15, 20 games in a row, all right, somehow, just simply because your team is so devoid of talent. But the point here is that these players in the NBA have talent. That's why, and on any given night, okay, the other team has to show up to beat them. Okay, otherwise players go out there and play with pride. No player goes out there and tanks. That's why if the Jazz players had been given a memo at the start of the season, hey guys, we're tanking here, and just make sure you go out there and give a half-assed effort. Okay, it doesn't work that way. And I think it's shown here that players go out there, play as hard as they can. And when players go out there and play as hard as they can, and especially teams that have these sort of new lineups that other teams have never seen, it's a bit hard to game plan. Sort of what you're going to expect, who's going to be your core players, how are they going to run their sets, all these sort of things. That's sort of what we're seeing here, I think, with the Jazz a little bit. And obviously even like some of the other teams that are trying to not really win that many games.
You make a lot of great points, but by the middle of the season, I think we'll have a pretty impressive losing streak already on the stove. All right, and I think we'll be looking at something that, I get the top three thing, totally get it, but I think that there'll be a team that's deliberately trying to lose, and they will not have any caliber of players to sneak a win. And I think it's a great narrative, right? The team, it's a great selling point. Wembanyama comes in, completely turns that team around. It's a great spin. We'll talk in a couple of months, all right? I think that's the way I'll frame it.
Yeah, we got 1 minute left on this recording, because we love to use free product like Zoom. Shout out to Zoom. Yeah. Maybe they can give us a sponsorship here. But you're basically saying here that, let's say we take the Utah Jazz. You're saying in the next, by game 20 or 30, they're going to start to offload Conley. All right, Clarkson, or shut them down, maybe Olynyk, and obviously Markkanen, Colin Sexton, whoever wants them, fire sale them, give me some picks, second round pick, doesn't matter, we're trying to lose. All right, and they are going to now finish maybe with the bottom three record and the 14%, I think, chance of winning the number one pick. All right, and the irony here is that come the ping pong balls drop, they end up with the third pick of the 2023 draft. Okay, and all of this was for naught. All right, assuming
it's a good hot take.
GM has the balls to even try to pull this off.
It's a good hot take. I think that's a good way to end it.